Hello. I'm going live on Instagram and on YouTube right now. Um, Today's live is going to be all about common things that you overlook as an overwhelmed business owner. So that is a common statement that my clients make to me or potential clients make to me when we first meet. They're overwhelmed. They feel pulled in 50 million directions. They are forgetting things. They have mental exhaustion, mental burnout. So those are some of the symptoms of what feeling like an overwhelmed business owner is all about. I'm actually putting together a series of content and short videos on this subject even more about just the mental load that an entrepreneur and small business owner carries with them. Inspired kind of by the series that I've seen on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, other places of just the mental load moms carry that no one talks about, like the extra things that they have to deal with. So there are also things that are carried by entrepreneurs and small business owners that lead to this overwhelm. And so today we're going to talk about common things that can be overlooked by this business owner so you can be, well, an overwhelmed business owner. So you can be on the lookout for those and make sure you're not overlooking them if you're overwhelmed. And then kind of we'll talk about ways that you can prevent the overwhelm through systems and processes and checklists. And honestly, the biggest thing that my clients, I'll just give it to you right now, right on the beginning. The biggest thing my clients usually need is just some place for their thoughts to live that isn't just like a piece of paper that can be thrown out or lost, something that they can find that will help create structure for them and a system and a process that works for them. So, common things overlooked by overwhelmed business owners. So, if you're growing really quickly, or which is amazing, probably want to have, you're growing quickly and you're getting interest, your messaging's working, your offers are clicking. A lot of things overwhelmed business owners will forget or overlook is SOPs. So, if you don't know what SOPs are, this is your standard operating processes. So, um, they will start putting together pieces really quick and not document these processes. So they're becoming a bottleneck by one being the main source of information and instructions. So they're not creating standard operating processes. They're not documenting the process. They're not documenting instructions that so that the system and process can become repeatable, and be able to with repeatable means also quality. You won't be able to repeat it with quality. Um, so SOPs are commonly overlooked or fallen to the wayside or not done at all or not updated, not organized, not useful. Basically, they're not useful. Um, so not utilizing your team or technology. So I see this a lot in clients. They'll be like, I need help. I have this system, I have this tech, I have this person, I have so and so. But when I come in as an extra set of eyes for people, they are so overwhelmed and so in the day-to-day grind that they a lot of the times I have to like train my clients like give me this. Let me take this off your plate. I can handle this. This should be going to this team member. So kind of like coaching them through um almost how to delegate and what to delegate because they're so used to being the small business owner that wears all the hats and not utilizing this great team that they've built and letting go of things and delegating appropriately because they're so worried. Kind of goes back to the SOP thing that people won't be able to do it like they can or won't know how to do it to the same standard. So sometimes when you're in that hustle, bustle, and overwhelm, you forget to utilize the tools and the resources you have available. In my mastermind, in my group, um, we commonly talk about like, yes, logically, I know that I have this, but when you're operating from the subconscious and from your just default mode, honestly, you forget to use those things if you don't build it into your day to day and your habit. So Um, I check in, I put my accountability in the group, I make that a habit, to every day, like, also to know Lila is screaming because she is now, like, getting ready to walk, and if she gets a toy in her way, she gets so mad. "Lila, Lila, it's okay." Um, but so, like, holding yourself accountable and utilizing the people that you have put in place. Okay, of course, he's gonna start screaming in the middle of it. Okay, so next one is a lot of the time. So this is more so. It's not really overlooked, but it's uh, so this one gets overlooked, but it's also causing part of the problem of not standardizing your services and packages. So this is contributing to the problem, but then you're overlooking it when you're in that overwhelm mode and aka like your survival mode because you're just trying to get through the day. You're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So if you're customizing your services and packages, um, you're causing the overwhelm and you're just too busy to even think about like in that creative CEO visionary mindset, you're too busy or burnt out to even think about like your offers and how you can standardize them. So that's a big part of the simple ops framework is standardization. Um, because it will improve not only the quality of the services or products you're providing, but it will also help with your customer experience, and really improve the efficiency and parts of your team. Like productivity will also increase when you have more standardization because your team knows what to expect. They are not also mentally overburdened with like these one-off changes. And they know what the standard and what the standard is and what the goals are for each client. Because I see that happen a lot where, the CEO or the rep, like account manager maybe, is talking to the client and they're like, oh yeah, we can do this, this, and this for you. And then it's never appropriately or adequately communicated to the rest of the team. And everyone's like, what? I didn't know we were doing this, or I didn't know we offered this, or, so making sure your team is on the same page with your services and offers is really important. And making sure everything's communicated effectively. And so one other thing that can be overlooked is just, which is also another contributing factor, is not being organized. So things will just start to get put all over the place. They will, because when you're just in that hustle and bustle, you're not following any process or system and you're just trying to make it through each day and or trying. It's okay. It's okay. You're just trying to make it through each day and you are things just start to be housed or homed wherever you can find a spot for it, or it just gets lost somewhere, especially in the digital world. Hold on, I grab her. Come here. Come here. Come here. There we go. And we're back. So you just house and home or move things like especially digital assets or products, um, communications in wherever you can, and they're not living in the appropriate spot. So then everything becomes messy. You're not organized, so it contributes to the overwhelm, but it also will cause you to um, make things worse because you're just operating on autopilot and you're not thinking about, okay, how can I get this better? Because you're just like able to see 3 feet in front of you instead of the longer term, at least from my experience with working with other entrepreneurs. Don't need it. So those are some of the things that are overlooked. Oh, and then we kind of talked about being overwhelmed. Kind of what contributes to that is not having systems and processes in place. So those are some things that can help with getting you out of the overwhelm is so some of the things that can help get you out of the overwhelm for systems and processes that also will this kind of goes into the topic I'm going to talk about. I think in 2 weeks or next week. I forget what the topic is next week. Is how to get caught up on your to-do list if you fall behind. Because usually a lot of the service providers and entrepreneurs that I work with, they're overwhelmed because they feel like their to-do list is behind. So they might be behind on client deliverables. They might be on their own behind on their own internal to-do list, which that is simply shifting your expectation of yourself and really making sure you're not putting yourself over capacity with your own internal to-do list. But if you're behind on your own to-do list, like client to-do list or client deliverables, you want to make sure you are adequately communicating that to your clients as well. But to get back on track, making sure we're piecing through client deliverables and keeping track of those. So biggest thing is having a place and a process for when new requests come in or new deliverables come in. Usually, I recommend putting it into a ClickUp or a Asana setup that will allow you to keep track of it. I was just talking to a friend about her setup and her statuses in her client list. So it's good to keep track of, what is in progress, what's to do, what's waiting for feedback, maybe what's getting reviewed by internally or externally if you're a service provider. Um, and making those each their own statuses within ClickUp so you can easily have insight. So that's the other thing, getting transparency by putting this kind of stuff in ClickUp or Asana will allow you to reduce the overwhelm because you're not taking so much time to manage your team or manage those pieces, and you don't have to take 20, 30, 40 minutes trying to figure out what's the status on this item or what happened, I don't remember, because you're doing 50 million things at once and you need to be able to just know what it is like that. So setting up your ClickUp or Asana appropriately to house those deliverables and leaving comments for even yourself in it is just so helpful. And then also I love having, which I just set this up for Zach, a CEO like brain dump list. I call it like a visionary list so that you can, when all these ideas pop up or things that are miscellaneous and maybe don't have a place to live, need somewhere to go, you put it in this list, and you can adequately organize those things into like needs a home or future idea. Um, don't want to forget things like that. One of the things that I love about ClickUp is the ability to send and forward emails, and I manage my inbox basically out of my ClickUp because I can create tasks and assign those things to myself. So then I'm not overwhelmed of like, oh, I'm taking on the mental load of I have to remember to respond to that email because I can't do it right now. So, or I'm not in that work mode or that mentality of because I time block, which really helps reduce my overwhelm, is time blocking when I'm working on certain clients and putting up those boundaries of, okay, I'm working on this client. I cannot look at um, another client's work, or I'm working on my business. I'm in that visionary CEO mindset. I'm not in service provider mindset. So really batching your tasks will help reduce the overwhelm. Having the systems and processes in place. One of the biggest things I recommend and set up for my clients are their virtual headquarters and a ClickUp so that everything has a place to live. Clearly defining your processes, so you know what next steps are happening, so you can standardize it easier. So that'll help reduce the overwhelm and um, allowing yourself to make your week more predictable. Okay, you want me to be done. I hear you. So those are the things that can commonly be overlooked, ways to help it. Um, Catch the replay on YouTube, or if you're watching on Instagram, check there. Love to hear what your biggest takeaway is. Leave it in the comments below. And if you're not already on my email list, get on the email list to get the updates each week. So I'm going to go take care of her and get her what she needs. So bye.